There are two mistakes that people make when they start building a directory project for the first time. The first is picking the wrong directory theme. And this can be a big problem because it's hard to understand what kind of features and what kind of things that you want because you haven't built this type of website before. So in this video, I'm going to be going over a couple different platforms and how they differ so that you can help find the best platform for you. But there's actually two mistakes. I'm going to get to the other mistake a little bit later in this video. All right, so let's get into it. The biggest mistake a lot of people make is they pick the wrong platform for them. And that's really important when you're building a directory. I'm going to tell you about two different platforms that I think are probably the best for beginners if you haven't built a directory before. Now, a lot of people might be coming this from a more technical background of building websites before, and you can use WordPress. Trust me, it's glitchy. You're going to do plugin updates and they're going to break the site, and it can be a very frustrating experience. So both of these are more or less no code solutions. So they're going to be easy for you to get your idea out of the box and get onto the web. And that's really the main focus of it. So I'm going to be talking about two different platforms here today. I'm going to be talking about Directify and I'm going to be talking about Unicorn Platform. And I've used both of these to create directories. So I'm going to explain what the difference is. And hopefully by the end of this, you're going to have a better idea of what's going to be better for your project. So this is going to be a no fluff presentation. I'm going to really give you the nuts and bolts of what you need to know in this. All right. So first off, you got to understand this is a different time than building a directory 5 or 10 years ago. What we're seeing right now is what's working well is a niche directory, specifically a hyper niche directory. The goal is not to be an aggregator for everything. You don't want to try to compete with Yelp or Zillow or one of these like big sites. You want to build a very focused directory around a very small niche. And that's where the opportunity lies in hyper niche creation and curation about these specialized things. So think about maybe AI tools. It can be local services. It can be specialized equipment. It can be a whole bunch of things, but you want to be focused on a very specific niche because you have to be able to talk specifically to people that are in that niche, that are looking to buy that type of product. So a great one that I use is different products. So you can build it around a very specific set of products. So first, let's talk about Directify. This is a specialist. And I don't mean this in a bad way because I build a lot of directories on Directify. It's function over form. So it's basically saying, I'm not here to wow you. I'm here to rank you on Google. So this is a dedicated engine built specifically for directories. So unlike WordPress, which is meant to be many things to many people, Directify is really just for building directories. So it's very focused on that. And it's very specific about building directories. And so it's a tool that's great for that task. Let's look at the engine room of Directify. It has programmatic SEO, sometimes known as small p, capital SEO. That's how it's referred to in written form. Directify will automatically generate the sitemaps, the rich snippets, the indexing, the technical SEO. So it handles all of that without you lifting a finger. And they're making improvements on that because I've talked to the developer and the developer has made improvements and it's getting better and better each day. It has native monetization. So built in, if you're going to take paid submissions, which is not something that I recommend starting for a beginner directory, but you can use Stripe or Lemon Squeezy. It's all integrated. It's very easy. You just put in your API keys and boom, it's all set up. Everything's done. Again, API integration. So the OpenAI can auto write the listing descriptions and generate content from raw data. Now, I don't use it to generate content because I think that the content of a directory listing is really super important and you want to have a very specific prompt to do that. But I talked to the developer recently and he's going to be adding the ability to add a custom instruction so that you can tweak and suggest to AI what you want that title and that meta description to focus on. Now, the title and meta description is really important, not just for ranking. And a lot of people think of it's just for ranking, but really it's for the click-through. If someone's interested in this topic, in this niche, is this something that they're going to want to click through? That's a really important consideration for your title and your meta description. And then the other thing that's really, really, really nice about Directify is it has the traffic driver. So it's a dedicated articles and blog section that's designed to drive organic search traffic to the listings. And This is really good because it can be marked down or rich text, and it's very easy to use. And this is one of the ways that you're going to grow your directory. So I have a directory that only has about 12 listings total. That's the whole thing. That's how hyper niche it is. But there's a lot I can write about and get more into nuances and questions and what people also ask, and cater those blog articles to specific queries that people are searching for. And that's how you win at the micro niche directory game. So hopefully you're taking notes on this. All right. So the Directify persona, this is a data-driven marketer. Okay. This is someone that's maybe familiar with WordPress, probably familiar with WordPress, and tired of the plugin maintenance. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. The priority here is ranking number one on Google and being able to manage large data sets, both of listings. You can handle a lot of listings, like thousands, or articles. And that's how you get traffic. So with AI, this is a big opportunity right now. It allows you to create content that's very good if you have a great prompt. That's what we do for people, is we help refine the prompt, because we have two very specific prompts that we give our clients for whatever their directory is. And it's going to be completely different prompts based on whatever their directory is. It's really about that prompt engineering. And that right there is gold. And that tip is gold too. And the trade-off is you got to accept text heavy templates, and you can actually put images in and videos through Markdown. It's very easy to do, but it's text driven. Understand this is a text driven business. We're trying to get people to get to the site. And what I do on my sites is, when I have my site, I'm going to have an alert bar on the top. There's a great site called Alert Bar Pro, and you can put an alert bar on different websites. And rather than a pop-up, it like hangs in the top there and like wiggles and gets attention. And that leads to a capture page. And so you want to be starting to think of your directory as building assets, not just building the asset of the rankings in Google or the kind of mass of articles and listings that you've accumulated in that niche where you become a power player. Particularly if you're doing a local directory, you become someone that people notice in that niche that's able to command advertising revenue, but also you can build a list in that niche. And I think that's very important as well, because that's an asset in and of itself. Yeah, the data-driven marketer, that's a Directify. That's why I love it. Unicorn Platform, I actually used first, and I used it to build a sales letter. And I call this the canvas because there's a lot of aesthetic flexibility. And this is great. And I know that John Rush, the owner of Unicorn Platform, and I'll put a link to an interview that I've done with him about directories in the comment section. But basically, this can build a very modular, beautiful looking SaaS site. It has all these different blocks that you can layer in, and you can organize how and where you want the listing to be. So it gives you the flexibility. I'll get to this in a second. It gives you the flexibility of what do you want listed first. Whereas Directify, it's going to be more set in, a little bit more rigid in moving things into different sections. Uniform Platform, it's a modern website builder where the directory is just a component of a larger brand or story. And this is great if you want to have something sassy, something that just looks nice, modern, and gets the attention of people. And also if you are selling the information before people actually get the directory, like the directory itself is the product, okay, that people buy. So with Uniform Platform, and this is what I was saying, it's the art of the drag and drop. So the modular design, right? So basically what this does is this can create like nice looking landing page on the different pages. And then you can have listing pages, you can have blog pages that you can set up in different ways. And the Google Sheets at the back end. Okay. So you can use Google Sheets or Airtable as the back end. And you can see like from this cell, you want it to merge into this part. And this cell, you want to merge into the price field. And this, you want to put in the reviews, right? So you'd have that all in Google Sheets, and then it would show it. But you can move all that stuff around and have a little bit more flexibility. And that's one of the great things about Unicorn Platform. So this is someone that's more of a brand that wants to have control of the storytelling. It's no code, but it's got a great UI. But the problem and the reason that I don't always want to build directories with this is because you got to manage the data manually in spreadsheets. It looks great, but you're actually entering the data of these listings into Google Sheets. I don't love working with spreadsheets. That's just my thing. If you do, then you would love Unicorn Platform, and it looks really nice. So here's one of the conflicts: rigid utility versus the creative freedom. And I just want to say here, the most important thing, the most important mistake that people make, the biggest mistake that people make is that they take too long tinkering around with stuff rather than just getting your content out there. Get it listed, get it out there, start getting traffic, start your project making money right away. So Directify is really the template. It's fill in the blanks. It's great for uniformity. It's harder to make it look unique, and the layouts are fixed. You can toggle elements on and off, but you can't necessarily reorder them in a lot of different ways. With Unicorn Platform, you have a little bit more control over that. The canvas, mixing, matching the components, and you can really get something that's a look that you create that you have more influence over. Both of them allow you to change different colors and fonts and things like that. The engine room, here's where they're different. Directify is the powerhouse. Native, programmatic SEO. So it's built in, automatic schemas, automatic sitemaps. That's not something you have to worry about. It's just day one, it's all done for you. It's laid out well. They have H1 tags. Everything is done for you. You just need to put in the content. The data, it's very easy because there's an internal dashboard. It's like logging into a site, not unlike WordPress. And so it's easy to fill out with AI writing assistants or hire a virtual assistant to do that manual inputting for you. And if you do have a local directory, you can allow users to sign up, log in, and manage their own listing. So it does that all for you. The spreadsheet, on the other hand, with Unicorn Platform, it does standard website SEO. So it does rely on some manual content optimization, a little bit knowing what you're doing, making some tweaks in the sheet, and relies on Google Sheets. It is familiar for a lot of people, but I don't like spreadsheets. And so there's no way to have that native user login. You're really like the sole creator. A little bit harder to outsource in that respect. They're both minimalistic. I'm a big fan of minimalism. Again, you want to get your product out there, get the MVP out there. And so there's functional minimalism in Directify, which is clean code, it's fast loading, text heavy. The goal is really efficiency. With Unicorn Platform, you're going to have a more of an aesthetic. It's a lot of white space, which you might not like. And that can be hard to manipulate because it's built a certain way, but it's got that modern UI, nice typography. So the goal is elegance. What you want to do here is to choose your path. If you need users to pay to submit listings and log in and be able to update maybe their own email themselves, you want something like Directify. If it's part of a larger brand, you might want to choose Unicorn Platform. What I do on my Directify site, so I will tell you this, is sometimes I'll make a subdomain and I'll put in beautiful sales letter built with something else, and that will be part of the site, but I'll have that independent. So I have the best of both worlds, and that works really well for me. If you're going to be scaling to thousands of pages, in my opinion, you definitely want Directify. It's easier to outsource to VAs. And if it's going to be a small curated best of list that you want to really curate the look and feel of, then by all means, Unicorn Platform is a great choice. And again, I've used both of these platforms. By the way, support on both is really top notch. I've talked to the developer on Directify and on Unicorn Platform. Their support has been very helpful for me, and I've had lots of interactions with them. Here's the verdict. Business in a box, if you want that. If you want features that would typically come with a directory builder, claim your listing, automated SEO, streamline performance, user dashboard, or if you prefer function and just getting ranked over Flare, go with Directify. If you want to have this fit with your brand and you want something that looks like a high-end SaaS page and you're going to be comfortable creating data in Unicorn in the spreadsheets, then do Unicorn Platform. But ultimately, here's the thing. You want to build, you want to ship, you want to monetize. Don't forget that. Don't get caught up on that. It's important to take some time to pick the right platform for you. But once you pick something, realize there's niggles and naggles with everything. It's really about picking what's going to work the best for you, making that decision. And you can always learn from this experience and make a different choice later on. A lot of people that I know are just building one directory. They're building multiple directories because so profitable right now. And because AI and ChatGPT, the way they look at how they present their results is they love structured data. So the structured data that a directory has is going to be good, and it tends to outperform in the search and also the search on ChatGPT and the LLMs, Claude, Gemini, all that stuff. So the goal is research the niche, do that first, curate the data, find the best data. How are you going to present that? What are your categories going to be? How are you going to best present that to the user? And then launch fast. So pick a tool. Don't worry too much about it, but it is good to go through a video like this and understand what some of the differences are, because it's not always apparent just from reading the sales letter how different these are. Anyhow, I hope this was really helpful. I've got a free guide on how to build directories, how to get the idea for a directory, how to narrow down that niche and pick the categories, get started, all that stuff. I'm going to put a link to that in the description. So pick that up and we'll see you in the next video. All right. That's all we got for this one. Check out the other links on this video right now, and you're going to see some other great tools that are going to help you build directories.